Superstar Takeoff, one-third of the Migos, was recently killed in Houston, Texas. A lot of people, too many people, are jumping out the window saying that this is part of a conspiracy theory, a ritualistic sacrifice. Was this a conspiracy theory? Was this a sacrifice? Or was this a real life situation? Let's talk about it. I personally can never understand. I actually find this to be disgusting. I find this to be disrespectful. Rest in peace, Takeoff, one-third of the Migos. As we all know, Takeoff recently was shot and murdered in Houston, Texas. Way too often, this is happening in our communities, bro. Way too often, this is happening in the rap, hip-hop culture. Way too often. What I find to be blatantly disrespectful and disgusting, right, is whenever it seems as if though, whenever a real life situation like this pops up, right, and another rapper or artist is killed, a lot of people who are completely brainwashed and don't understand real life will jump out the window and start saying that the Illuminati is responsible for such a thing, that this was a ritualistic sacrifice. This has to do with conspiracy theories and all these crazy things, bruh. And we're gonna get into that as soon as we go over real quick what really happened. It turns out there's this individual girl. Her name on Twitter is Triracial, what is it? Triracial Angel. She's coming out on Twitter and speaking about what actually took place. Now, this is an individual who was photographed standing immediately next to Takeoff, moments before the situation took place. Moments before. She claims that Takeoff was not a part of the gambling that was going on. As a matter of fact, claiming that Takeoff was quiet the entire night and wasn't even a part of whatever mess or chaos ended up causing him his life. It turns out, right, and this is according to Triracial Angel, I believe was her name. I want you guys to have the name because you can go on her Twitter, you can go down her tweets and look at everything that she's saying. There's photographs of her standing right next to Takeoff. She's stating that maybe 5 minutes after they left and went outside, right, is when jokes and things started happening. If you're somebody who is from certain places, like, you know, like a ghetto or like a hood, like, you know what I'm saying, like from certain cities, urban areas, and you know, or at least you should know, that situations can go from 0 to 100 extremely fast. You should know that. If people have really been in situations, have really had these experiences, have really almost died, have had a gun pointed to them, right? or in situations where it was looking bad both ways, you would understand that situations can often go from 0 to 100 really quick. In this situation, it turns out that after they stepped outside, there were jokes that were being exchanged. Maybe not jokes, there were comments and things that were being said and were being exchanged. And actually, Quavo ended up feeling challenged by somebody who was stating these jokes or whatever the case was. These jokes or these comments or these remarks having to do with fighting, apparently, and playing basketball is what she's stating. She's stating that the jokes and what was being exchanged outside, right, was over fighting and basketball. So Quavo, right, seems like Quavo decided to buck up when that started happening. And this is the tweets. I'm going to share the tweets with y'all here if y'all don't want to go over to her Instagram, to her Twitter and check it for yourselves. After the joke started going back and forth, I guess Quavo must have felt some type of way or was feeling some type of way. Now we got to understand, Quavo is a rich rapper. Most likely has one of the highest statuses there. So he's going to be feeling himself. He's going to be in a space, or he's going to feel like he's in a space where he's in charge because he's the high status guy. He's the Migos. He's Quavo. So of course you're going to buck up. And apparently what that caused was for an even bigger mess to start to spill out. Somebody from the Migos side started shooting. And unfortunately, the first bullet or the first shot hit Takeoff. This is what the individual girl that was next to Takeoff during the situation, so she was there, there's photographs, there's everything, she was there. This is what she's stating happened. Somebody that was there. So it's disgusting, absolutely, it's nasty for, bro, I want to say it's safe to say thousands of people stating that this had to do with some kind of ritualistic sacrifice or this, that, and the fifth. Do y'all want to know what the biggest issue and the biggest problem with believing something like that really is? Do you guys want to know what that does to the human brain and the human psyche when we start to believe that somebody like Takeoff was killed by the Illuminati and it was a ritualistic sacrifice and all these things? Do you guys know what that type of narrative and storyline does to the human brain? Do we understand this? I'm going to speak on this coming from a place of, I used to be, and I'm going to keep it 1,000 with you guys. I used to be a huge conspiracy theorist, bro. In my early 20s, in my late teens, early 20s, I was one of the biggest conspiracy theorists that you can find out there. I was all about saying the Illuminati is responsible for this, the Illuminati sacrificing all these people, the Illuminati, the Illuminati, the Illuminati. But when I started to get older, right, I'm 31 now. When I started to get into my later 20s, I started to understand, bro. I came to an epiphany. And I said, wait a second. If I continue to go throughout my entire life blaming some invisible beings or some invisible powers that be for things that I'm seeing, things that are happening, where is there ever any accountability? Where is there ever any accountability? Let me get a little bit deeper. The real issue in a situation like this is the person that pulled the trigger. That's the real issue in a situation like this. In a situation like this, it comes down to this. The individual who decided to pull out a gun, who decided to start shooting, right? Most likely doesn't have self-discipline, self-respect, self-restraint, nothing. The individual that actually pulled the gun out and shot the weapon, where's the accountability for that? Where's that accountability? That's where the real issue lies. The real issue lies in ourselves. It's always one of us that takes another one of us out the picture. Always. So how can we, right, do something as disgusting as completely dismiss, take away accountability from the individual that actually committed the crime, and start to say the Illuminati was responsible for this, bro? This was a ritualistic sacrifice. Do people understand what conspiracy theories do? Conspiracy theories are made to keep us off track. Conspiracies are created, narratives and storylines are created, just like news, just like media, to keep us off track. Because some of us, right, like myself, like to think that we understand life. We understand why things would happen. So there's always going to be an attempt to keep people and steer people from actually realizing the truth and actually realizing that we have a lot more power within us than we believe. Conspiracy theories are made for that reason. The longer that we continue to believe in conspiracy theories and all these crazy things that people be putting out there, bro, the longer that we'll continue to dismiss the fact that we are doing this to ourselves. Some people, right, want to say that, oh, it is definitely something that's conspiracy related or ritualistic sacrifice and blah, 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 because what's the coincidence of a bunch of rappers that are under one label all being killed and blah, blah, blah? What are the chances of this? It has to be some kind of conspiracy against rap. What happens when you buy a new car? When you get a new car, you have to register it, right? You have to insure it, right? You have to have insurance because you don't know what's going to happen. You're driving down the streets all day with a million other cars around the road. You don't know what's going to happen. This is the same exact way that it works when you become a rapper. When you become a rapper, you become a target. When you're on TV and media all day with chains on and money and all this stuff, you become a target. Human beings can be extremely jealous and envious of other human beings, bro. You become a target. After you become a rapper and you become a target, the chances of you being involved in something like this, the risk increases 100 times. Unless you're somebody who moves militant. Unless you're somebody who rolls with security and moves militant, you become a target. Which is why a label, right, would need to put insurance, would need to insure their artists. Some conspiracy theorists love to say, oh, it's definitely conspiracies because the label gets paid when they die. They get everything. They get paid. They get paid because of their death. Labels insure their artists because the risk of something happening to an artist after they become rich and famous, an artist increases almost 1,000 times. Now you go from being invisible and nobody knowing you, maybe a few, maybe 100 people knowing you in your neighborhood, to millions and millions and millions of people knowing who you are, bro. Thousands of those watching you, waiting for an opportunity. This is why labels would need to insure artists. For those conspiracy theorists out there that be like, oh yeah, labels get paid when the rapper dies, it gets killed. And labels understand. Labels are smart enough to understand, bro, that a lot of these guys that come up and get a big bag and do all these things, they don't know how to move. They don't understand the risk that comes along with being a millionaire, bro. A lot of these guys don't get that. And labels understand that. A label will understand that these guys don't know how to move. They're young. They're naive. They're just worried about the bag. So yes, we have to insure these artists because in the event that they are killed, because they do become targets, we have to get something for that. That is not a conspiracy. That's the way a business would work. A lot of people confuse conspiracy theories with business. A lot of people I notice tend to do that. They mix up conspiracy theories and business, and they are not the same thing, bro. Conspiracy theories, a lot are created to throw us off of figuring out what the actual business is behind something. It steers us in the wrong path. If we continue to think Illuminati is responsible for everything, who are we ever really going to hold accountable for anything? The Illuminati is an umbrella term used to describe invisible people. So when do we really start to try and hold each other and real actual people accountable? If we continue to go down this path of Illuminati is responsible for everything. This is a game that's being played with the human brain, with the human psyche. These are games that are being played with the human psyche. So I feel very bad, bro, for these people that are brainwashed to believe these types of things. Maybe it's a thing of age, because again, I used to be a huge conspiracy theorist, one of the biggest. I'd never stopped talking about it because I was such a believer until I had an epiphany, bro, and realized, what am I doing? Wasting my time, consuming my energy, wasting my energy looking into all these things that I have absolutely no control over and I don't even know if it's true, instead of using that energy that I was dedicating to looking at that stuff to doing something that's going to make me successful. Dedicating that time and energy to something that's real. That's the trick. That's the play. That's the play. Let's get masses and masses of people to focus on complete, utter nonsense and bullshit, because then they won't have any time to focus on themselves. They won't have any time to focus on themselves. Focus on maybe starting a business. Focusing on getting your education and your knowledge up for real life. Focus on learning how to evade taxes. Focus on learning how to build credit. Deal with buying properties no. The longer you consume conspiracy theories, the less time you're going to dedicate to learning about real life stuff. That's the play. And this is what disappoints me about all this, bro. TAKEOFF'S life was taken in a real life situation, bro. By somebody who had no self-control. By somebody who had no self-discipline. By somebody who had a sporadic thought and just decided to act instead of thinking through what the possibilities and what can happen are. That was a real situation. Ain't no conspiracy behind that, bro. And the quicker that we realize that this is what's happening, maybe the quicker we'll start to hold each other accountable. Maybe the quicker we'll start to say, hey, wait, what? Maybe we all got to slow down. Maybe we all got to stop jumping the gun. Maybe we all got to stop thinking we are all each other's enemies, bro, and stop trying to get each other up out of here. We all got to stop letting an argument go from 0 to 100. Those are the things that we start to miss and ignore when we believe that it was a ritualistic sacrifice, bro. I'm very passionate about this topic because I'm going to say it one more time. I used to be a huge conspiracy theorist. But then I turned, I think it was 28, and realized though that this is a joke. Conspiracy theories are nothing but jokes meant to throw you off of your path of finding and seeking actual truth as it pertains to business and real life. Those are the real life things that matter. I need to know what y'all think of this mess, man. Rest in peace to Takeoff, bro. I apologize, bro, on behalf of all of these people that are jumping out of a window saying that your life was taken at the expense of this and that. No. It was by another individual, bro, that didn't have anything up here. That's what it really was. So let me know what y'all think of this mess, man. You already know what it is. It's your boy Joe coming at you live and down right from the battle.